everyone, and welcome back to reading. Today we're going to be reading a newspaper article which is titled Stress Awareness Month as we go over our comprehension questions at the end. So we're going to begin with our focus question, and our focus question is, what are some things you do when you get stressed? Okay, so first of all, we need to define what is stress, because some of you might not know that what you might be feeling is actually stress. So stress is something you feel. It's an emotion that you would have. You could feel sad, mad, frustrated, nervous, or even scared. And a lot of different things in our life could cause us to get stressed. So we're going to learn about some things that might cause us to get stressed and the emotion that we would feel with it. But then what are some ways that when we do get stressed, we can be able to relax and calm ourselves down? So we're going to be introduced to 3 key vocabulary words in our newspaper article. And I wrote them below here. So let's say them together. We're going to be hearing about stress, feelings. So these feelings that I mentioned here, sad, mad, frustrated, nervous, or scared. And also activities. So we're going to be learning about maybe different types of stress activities, stress reliever activities that we could do to relieve some of our stress. So materials that you are going to need to complete this activity is, you're going to need our newspaper article, which is titled Stress Awareness Month. You're also going to need our review page questions, titled review page, and also our vocabulary words, titled game page, a pencil, and then also your correcting tool, a crayon, marker, colored pencil, pen. So let's go over that again. So you're going to need from your packet the Stress Awareness Month newspaper article, the review page for our comprehension questions, and then our game page for our vocabulary words, a pencil, and your correcting tool. When you have all of those in front of you, we're going to begin our reading. If you need a little bit of extra time gathering those from your packet and your pencil and then your correcting tool, you can pause the video here and then press play when you have it in front of you. So what we're going to do first is we're going to read the newspaper article together. Okay, to get us ready to answer our comprehension questions and then to go over our vocabulary words. So as I read the newspaper article to you, you're going to follow along, and we're also going to keep in mind that when we learn about stress, we're going to be talking about the feelings that you might have when you're stressed, and then what different types of activities we can do to relieve that stress. So let's first begin with our title of our newspaper article, Stress Awareness Month. April is National Stress Awareness Month in the U.S. People can learn about stress during this month. Everyone feels stress sometimes. You may feel stress when you are worried. Many things at school or home can cause stress. Changes at school and home can cause stress. So for example, we've had some changes at school. You know, with all of the coronavirus that has been going on and us having school closed, it can cause a lot of us stressed. You know, we're not in our normal routine. We're not able to go to school and see our friends and see our teachers. And it is a little stressful because we're not, you know, we weren't sure when we were able to go back to school or not. But in order for us to stay safe and stay healthy and to make sure everybody is following the rules, you know, we're going to be continuing having school like this. So that could be stressful a little bit, but we have to make sure that we are all trying our best every day. Changes in your schedule can cause stress. Homework and tests can cause stress too. Trying new things can cause stress. So sometimes maybe that some of the work that we're doing together, you might not get it right away, so you might get a little frustrated, and that can cause you a little bit of stress. Stress can change your feelings. So here we're going to be talking about a vocab word, feelings. You may feel sad, mad, frustrated, nervous, lonely, or excited. Stress can change your body too. Stress can give you a headache or a stomach ache. You may not sleep well when you feel stressed. You may eat less food or you may eat more food. You can do activities to feel less stress. So here's our third vocabulary word, activities. You can exercise, you can get better sleep, you can eat healthy foods, you can do something that makes you happy. Other people can help you feel less stress. You can talk to someone about stress. You can talk to a friend, parent, teacher, or school counselor. And a school counselor works in our school. So Miss Nikki is our school counselor at school. So if we were at school and you maybe wanted to talk to a school counselor, that's the person that we would be talking to. You also can talk to a parent. You can talk to your friends. You can talk to me as your teacher. You can talk to anybody that you feel comfortable talking to if you do feel stressed, okay? Because sometimes talking about it makes you feel better. April is National Stress Awareness Month. Everybody feels stressed sometimes. You can do activities to feel less stress. Other people can help you too. What do you do when you feel stress? So actually, we're going to come back to this question at the end of our lesson because there's going to be a little activity for you to do. All right. So now that we read our newspaper article, we are then going to get out our review page with our review questions on it. So if everybody has this in front of you, I'm going to hang mine on our board, and then you're going to get out your pencil, okay? You're going to write your first and last name at the top of your paper. I am going to read all of the questions, and then once we're done reading all of the questions and you answering them, we're going to go back and we're going to correct our answer. So I'd like you to first put your first and last name at the top of your paper to get us ready to answer our questions about the newspaper article. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read question 1 in our choices, and you are going to circle the answer that best completes the question, okay? Starting with question number 1. What is this paper about? The 2020 census, Stress Awareness Month, or the coronavirus? Number 2. Who can you talk to about stress? School counselor, a zombie, or an alien? Number 3. Where does a school counselor work? A park, a museum, or a school? Number 4. What can stress change? Your eye color, your height, or your feelings? Number 5. What can stress give you? A sunburn, a headache, or a broken bone? And number 6. What can cause stress at school? Tests, hiking, or vacation? So all of your questions should be answered. You should have an answer circled for question 1, an answer circled for question 2, an answer circled for question 3, an answer circled for question 4, an answer circled for question 5, and then an answer circled for question 6, okay? If you need a little bit of extra time to go back to maybe one of the questions that you were stuck on or didn't answer right away, you can pause the video and rewind it till you get to that question. And then when you're ready and you have your correcting tool out, you can press play again. So now we're going to go over and correct our answers. Remember, if you got an answer correct, we've been putting a check. If you got your answer wrong, you'll just put an X and then you will correct your mistake because we learn from our mistakes. So going over question number 1. What is this paper about? the 2020 census, Stress Awareness Month, or the coronavirus? The correct answer is Stress Awareness Month. April is Stress Awareness Month. Number 2, who can you talk to about stress? School counselor, zombie, or alien? The correct answer is a school counselor. Not only can you talk to a school counselor, but you also can talk to your parents, you can talk to friends, you can talk to your teachers, you can talk to anybody that you feel comfortable talking to. Number 3, where does a school counselor work? A park, museum, or school? The correct answer is school. A school counselor works at school, and our school counselor is Miss Nikki. Number 4, and everybody knows that joins us for social hour, Miss Nikki runs social hour. So if you needed to talk to her, that would also maybe be a good place for you to talk to her. Number 4, what can stress change? Your eye color, your height, or your feelings? The correct answer is your feelings. If you're stressed, you might feel sad, angry, frustrated, lonely, worried, scared, or nervous. Number 5, what can stress give you? A sunburn, a headache, or broken bone? The correct answer is headache. You might get a headache, you might get a stomach ache, you might not even sleep well. And number 6, what can cause stress at school? Tests, hiking, or vacation? The correct answer is tests. So tests might cause stress at school, change of schedule might cause stress at school. All right. So now that we just went over our review questions, we're going to put those aside, and now we're going to get out our game page vocabulary word pictures. So what you're going to do now for here is you're going to take your pencil back out, and you're going to put your first and last name at the top of your paper. I'm then going to read all of the pictures and words, and you're going to circle the words that we heard about in our newspaper article. Once I go through reading all of the words, we're then going to go and we're going to circle, and you will correct your paper to see if you circled all those vocabulary words that went along with our Stress Awareness Month newspaper article. So right now I'm going to give you a few minutes to put your first and last name on your paper with your pencil, so then we can continue going over our vocabulary words. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each of the words. If you believe that that word was in our newspaper article, you circle it. If you think that word was not in our newspaper article, you leave it alone. So I'm going to read all of them, starting with change. If you think that was in our newspaper article, you'll circle it. If not, you'll leave it blank. Mining. Sad. Better. So you're circling the words in this row that went along with our newspaper article. If that word or that picture did not go along with our newspaper article, you're going to leave it blank. So now I'm going to move on to the second row. You're going to circle all of the words in the second row that went along with our newspaper article. So we have feelings, stress, school counselor, penguin. Circling the picture and the words in this row that went along with our newspaper article. If it didn't, you don't do anything. You do not circle it. Moving on to the third row. We have talk, less, dresser, feel. Circling all the words and pictures in the third row that went along with our newspaper article. If it didn't, we leave it alone. then moving on to our fourth row, we have space program, exercise, everyone, cause. Circling all the words and pictures in this row that went along with our newspaper article. If you didn't, you're just going to leave it alone. So right now on your paper, you should have all of the words and pictures that went along with our newspaper article circled. If you need a little bit of extra time, maybe you found a word that you forgot to circle, then you can pause the video here and check over your paper, or you can rewind the video a little bit as I can go over and read them again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to correct our paper, okay? Remember, you should have only the words that are circled that represent the newspaper article. If the words or pictures we did not talk about in the newspaper, they should be left blank. So if you'd like to get out your correcting tool and correct your work, if for some reason you forgot to circle a word, you can just circle it with your correcting tool, okay? So I'm going to read the first row, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to circle all the words that were associated with our newspaper article. So in the first row, we have change, mining, sad, better. The ones that should be circled are change, sad, and better. Those three vocabulary words we heard in our newspaper article. We did not talk about mining. So moving on to the second row. Feelings, stress, school counselor, and penguin. The words that should be circled are feelings, stress, school counselor. We did not talk about any penguins in our newspaper article. Moving on to the third row. Talk, less, dresser, and feel. The words that should be circled are talk, less, and feel. We did not talk about dresser. And then our last row, we have space program, exercise, everyone, and cause. The words that should be circled are exercise, everyone, and cause. We did not talk about the space program in our newspaper article. So I'd like you to look over your paper. If you circled all of these words, you'd be putting checks next to them. If you missed a word, you're just going to circle it with your correcting tool, so that way everybody is on the same page. And now what we're going to do is we are going to say all of these words together. So as I say each of those vocab words, you can repeat back after me. So we're going to start with change. So here we go. We have change, sad, better, feelings, stress, school counselor, talk, less, feel, exercise, everyone, and cause. Now I just want to go back and talk about our focus question again. Let's revisit it. So our focus question was, what are some things you do when you get stressed? Okay, and in our newspaper article, we learned that stress is something you feel. Some of your feelings, such as our vocab word, you could be sad, mad, frustrated, nervous, or scared. Things that might cause you stress is school. So in school, you might be stressed when maybe there's a change of schedule, or maybe when you have to take a test, or when you're learning new material. You could also be stressed from home too. Maybe you're worried about something. There's a lot of things that can cause you different types of stress that we talked about in our newspaper article. And with stress comes feelings. But we also learned that there's different activities or ways that we can cope with our stress. We can talk to somebody. So if we're at school, you can can talk to your teachers, you can talk to your friends, you can talk to our school counselor. If you're at home and you're stressed about something, you can talk to your parents or your siblings or your grandparents or anybody that you're close to, aunts, uncles, brothers, okay? And you could do different types of activities when you're stressed. Maybe you exercise. Maybe you go for a walk, okay? Maybe you just like to sit down in a quiet place and listen to music. So that's where we come to our focus question again. What are some things you do when you get stressed? So maybe when you're sad, mad, angry, or frustrated, what do you do to calm yourselves down? So I actually posted a video of one thing that I do when I get stressed. And the video is linked at the bottom of our post. It's like a 20-second video clip, and I shared one thing that I do when I get stressed. And I would love you guys to either share a video, or you can send me a picture, or you can even write a comment below on our post of some things that you do when you get stressed, okay? So that's going to be it for our newspaper article today. And I'm also going to add an extra exercise link if you guys would like to try it, that maybe you can do when you guys get stressed, or maybe if you just want a little bit of a break and do a little bit of movement, just to get away from some schoolwork and to make your bodies nice and strong. And then after we're done with reading, it's going to be time for math. So I will see you all back in math.